the Bucks commemorative can and the opening day can. And, it's one product.
If I start seeing wine bottles with sports faces and stuff on them, I don't think I'm going to purchase them anyways. I don't do it for the beer. I'm not going to do it for the wine.
Right.
Right.
No, that's we all kind of feel the same, that in the next few years we're definitely see a bubble. So
yeah. Could be wrong. It may be smooth sailing and, till the end of time, but probably not.
Okay, well, let's talk a little bit more about some of your beers. Do you want to tell everybody who might not have had one out there that's listening what exactly a farmhouse ale is or a saison is?
Generally, they are. Well, I'll describe the taste and then a little bit of the history. They should be light in color, should be fairly dry, very attenuated. Have a little, little earth to them. Maybe a little Brett, but definitely a little funk, a little yeast byproduct. They're most definitely yeast-driven beers as opposed to malt forward or hop forward. They're all about the yeast and the yeast management. They stem from southern Belgium and northern France in the farm belt there. Tradition dictates that the farms, back in the early 1800s and maybe even a little before that, they'd have their workers year-round. And once the harvest was done, to give them something to do and to give the farm some income, they would brew beer during the winter months, the cooler months, and that also gave them something safe to drink in the spring, summer, and harvest. They were brewing 2% beer, 1.5% beer. It was definitely safer than the water, and that's where the term farmhouse ales came from. And saison in particular, the saison is French for season, and it's brewed one season and consumed the next.
Now, is this a style that you've obviously keep close to your heart? Is that why you wanted to continue to brew this style?
Yeah. When we were putting the brewery together, really nobody was doing this. The only brewery in the U.S. that was doing a saison when we opened was Omegang with Hennepin.
Okay, yeah, and that's obviously been around for a while now.
Yeah, and that was pretty much it. I mean, we were the first brewery to specialize in nothing but farmhouse ales in the U.S.
Well, congratulations on that. That's awesome. I personally haven't been able to get up to the brewery itself, but I'm definitely looking forward to hopefully swinging by there sometime soon and tasting some fresh as possible some of these, because I know I like that nice earthy tone that the saisons give out, and I like the esters from that yeast. So I'm looking forward to coming up there and seeing some new stuff.
Bob, and also too, man, one of the things that I heard you talking about was, as you said that, I'm sitting there thinking about, as far as who's making saisons, I mean, they're being made, no doubt, but still, man, I think it goes to show that just how much room there is. And I totally agree with you about the bubble, but it just, I mean, still, like, how many guys or how many breweries are just focusing on saisons, and how many out there? I mean, much more than when you started, but man, you think about the IPA, and it's like every single brewery has got an IPA, right? And there's millions of them. But when it comes to the saison, I mean, there's still, I mean, they're out there, right? I mean, they're out there, no doubt. But it's like who's really focusing on that style? And I think it's still a there's still a lot of room there, I would think. I don't know if you have a differing opinion about that, but.
As long as they're doing it, correctly, and there are people fortunately doing it correctly out and about. And you have guys like Ron Jeffries at Jolly Pumpkin, go a step further, and he's basically doing farmhouse ales.
Sure.
But he's barrel aging everything,
right?
So you get that aspect of the barrel. Say with Jester King, Prairie. Side Project, Crooked Stave. There are, a number of breweries that are, doing it and doing it well. And I'm happy to say that they, for the most part, they consult and have, except for Rod Jeffries, they like to call on the old man here in Florida as far as bottle conditioning and just I've become the farmhouse Yoda.
Guru.
You are the guru of the farmhouse.
Yeah. I'm gonna get you a Yoda outfit just for saying that, Bob.
Well, that's got to make you feel kind of good too when these guys are reaching out to you and asking you questions and coming up with plans and stuff as well.
Yeah, and it's fun. It's gotten me a long way as far as travel and getting our beer out and about. We're small. I mean, I've yet to crack 700 barrels, but we are by far Florida's most widely distributed brewery. We were picked up by Shelton Brothers early on, and they're an importer, but they feed us into their distribution network. So we're available from Hawaii to New York State and Great Britain, Norway, Denmark. We're pretty much everywhere. A few states we're not in, just because Shelton Brothers just doesn't deal in those states. But we're in 40+ states.
Wow, that's crazy. I didn't realize that you were in that many states.
Hey, Bob, if you would too, and without going too much into Shelton Brothers and what it is that they do, but just quickly, what is it? Shelton Brothers is one of those. I mean, that's a pretty prestigious, if you will, distributor/importer. Can you tell us just a little bit about Shelton Brothers and what it is they're doing and what they do for you?
They are the importer of pretty much every great beer, from Europe and around the world. They import Cantillon, Grey Fontaine, De La Seine, Thierry. You name it. If it's an awesome European beer, craft beer, handmade. They don't do Duvel and the big guys, but they handle all of those. And I was fortunate enough. I was the second U.S. brewery to be in their network. Actually, it was just Jolly Pumpkin and Saint Somewhere up until about 3 or 4 years ago, and then they started picking up a few more U.S. brands. But I was, in the company of giants, so to speak, and it's really given me, the connection to these guys. A beer we have out right now, Fraternity. We brewed with Yvonne Debates from De La Seine, Daniel Thierry from Brasserie Thierry, and Pierre Alex from Blagy, and these are the three, the three grand marks of saisons and farmhouse ales in the world. And I'm, I'm the punk kid, looking up to these guys, and they were in my brewery, and I felt like a stagehand at a Led Zeppelin, Beatles, and Rolling Stones concert.
That makes sense. But now you got the kids calling you now too. So you're right in that group now. You can't just say it's all them when it's all part of everybody now.
Yeah. I owe a lot of that to being picked up by Shelton Brothers early on. Again, that got us out pretty much all over the country. Again, when we were just about the only saison for farmhouse brewery that was around.
It's amazing that you can still stay so small and still get that much beer out. So congratulations to you on that. You guys got anything new brewing up there that you're coming up that's going to be coming out soon, or any new locations or anything like that we should look out for?
Yeah, we're in the middle of building out a whole new facility. We're going to have a tasting room with guest rooms upstairs. So if you're in town and
That's fun.
You want to spend the night in Tarpon Springs? You can rent one of our rooms above the tasting room.
That is a really good idea.
Wow, that is amazing.
Which is very common in Europe. It's just not done here. And then right behind that, we're building a new brewery. I'm shooting for a whopping 1,000 barrels a year between production and the tasting room, maybe a little more. So we're not going to get automated by any means. Everything is still very, very old school.
Yeah, you guys do open ferment there, don't you?
Yes, yeah, open fermentation, all
Wild yeast.
It's old school.
Well, that's fantastic. Where at any retail places can we find your beers here in the Tampa Bay area?
Well, funny you should ask. We actually pulled out of Florida completely for about almost a year and a half.
Oh, wow.
And we just, let's say, relaunched this past week. So we're actually, there might be some bottles floating around in Sarasota, but we're staying. Pinellas County is going to be, about as farthest south.
Well, that's okay.
I wanted to do a big contraction in Florida, just right around the tasting room. So we're in Hillsborough County, Pasco County, Pinellas County, and that's it right now.
Well, that's okay, because we all definitely like to take that trip north of the Skyway and try everybody out that we haven't had, and definitely purchase any beers that we can't get down in this market as well. So, thank you for constantly putting out a great product. And
thank you for saying that.
We definitely enjoy it. I know I have some buddies of mine that whenever they get a chance, they'll pick up a bottle, and they always bring it to shares all over the place. So, I'm glad to hear that you're doing very well, and it's we're all growing. Everybody's growing, and I love to see that you're now expanding a little bit and doing the new brewery and a little tasting room with some places for people to stay if they've had one too many or just want to kick it and not have to drive all the way back. So thank you so much, Bob. That's great. I know Jeremy's probably got another question for you, so we'll let him ask away, and then we'll let you go. Let's get back to your busy day. I'm sure it's it's starting to wind down, but we all know how it goes in this industry.
True.
Hey, Bob, buddy. No, listen, thanks again, man. We really appreciate it. No more questions. Unless you got anything to add. Would you like to add anything before you go?
No, not that I can think of, other than, thanks again for having me on.
Well, you're very welcome, Bob. We hope to have a long list of distinguished people, and we're honored to have you as the first interview that we've had on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you so much for joining us on JDub's Unfiltered. And hopefully, once you get the new place built out, maybe we can make our trip up to the tasting room there and do a live show there from your tasting room with you.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Well, Bob, thanks so much. Thanks for joining us from Saint Somewhere Brewing, and thank you for calling in to JDub's Unfiltered, and we'll look forward to talking to you soon and tasting some more beer.
All right, guys.
Cheers,
Thanks
Bob.
a lot.
All right,
Thanks,
Bob, have a
buddy.
good night.
Thank you, Bob. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Well, everybody, there you have it. That was Bob from Bob Sylvester from Saint Somewhere Brewing. Definitely, if you like those farmhouse ales and those saisons, definitely look into to try to find them stuff. Obviously, as he said, it's not really available in the Sarasota market currently, so make your way up to Pinellas or Hillsborough if you're up that way, and find a bottle shop, or hopefully one of your favorite watering holes up that way will have some for you.
Yeah, be distributed by, and some of the things, Bob got into it, but to be distributed by Shelton Brothers, I mean, it's a pretty big deal. They do, some pretty artisanal stuff, and I think that Bob is one of those, and Bob's at the forefront of this thing. And, Bob also, too, is, he talks about it. He really is. He calls himself the old man. I call him the OG. He's one of the godfathers of this whole thing. And in Florida for sure, and then also, too, when it comes to the Saison thing. He mentioned some breweries like Jester King out of Texas. He mentioned Crooked Stave out of Portland. I mean, these are some heavyweights.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And to think
and
that
like
Bob...
Jolly Pumpkin.
Pumpkin, right. And to think that
Dexter,
Bob was one of the... he's... I don't want to say necessarily started it, but he was at the forefront of it. He was one of the originals, the OGs. And that's really cool to think that those guys look up to him and they're reaching out to him and that he's distributed by Shelton Brothers. So that's really, really awesome stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. No, Bob is wonderful for him to join us today and talk a little bit about, how he started brewing and what they're growing into. So thanks again.